Good morning. Good morning. Today we are on day 9 of Get Ready for Miracles Challenge. And as you are arriving, I'm just going to switch my Facebook on and see if I have appeared there. If I am visible, not visible there yet. And I'm so excited because today we're going to be talking about intuition. Tap into your intuitive genius, which is the source of confidence, source of success, source of greatness in so many people's lives. So let me check if I can connect to my own self on the Facebook. So I can read your info. I can read your comments this way. I'm not here yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we have already passed the middle of the amazing challenge, Get Ready for Miracles. And I'm so excited about sharing today something which is so important to my heart. So important because it has been the source of my greatest amazing experiences, miracles, hello Joe, but also the greatest success. I can confidently say that me being intuitive and listening to it has been the source of my greatest success in my life. And so as you're gathering, let me just check. How can I connect to my own broadcast on Facebook? And can I? I can see that things come up first on YouTube and before. Oh yes, I'm here. Wonderful. We're all set. I'm going to put this here so I can see your comments. Perfect. Excellent. Sylvia is here. Narina, Agnieszka, Carly, thank you so much. So once again, we're all here now. Today, we're going to be talking about intuition and the purpose of our intuition. What's the purpose of our intuition? Why have we been born with intuition? And yesterday I was on live. Someone invited me to be a guest speaker on live, and she said to me, do we all have intuition, or some people don't have intuition at all? And what I actually said was, we are all born with intuition, like we are born with our heart, with breathing abilities, with 2 legs, and well, most of us are actually born with 2 legs, but we all have to have the basic organs to live, to breathe, to see, to move. And intuition allows us to move in our life in a beautiful way. Intuition has got 2 elements. So one element of the intuition is to actually protect us. And I have the whole sort of chapter around intuition and fear in my book. But the other purpose of intuition, in my mind, is to take us back home, where we belong, and allow us to fulfill our purpose on this planet and walk this journey with the maximum amount of joy, happiness, ease, effortlessness, and flow. Would you agree with me? Why have we been given intuition? What is the purpose of intuition? And why do we all know that if we only listen to our intuition a little bit more, the life would be that much better? And so when I was born, and I was just quite a small sort of child, I was maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. I used to go with my mom to church every Sunday. And I used to say to her, Mom, you know those halos around people's heads? What are they? And my mom, wise woman, she said, darling, I can't see any halos around people's heads, the auras. But they may be there, but I can't see them. And so she said, maybe you have a special gift. because I cannot see them. And then as I was getting older, I started seeing a lot of other things around me. And I knew if someone was lying, I would know what will happen to my friends if they do certain things. And when we sometimes they came to me and we were playing with cards, and they ask me, tell me, Gosha, what will happen with my boyfriend? And I would sometimes say that, playing. I was actually saying to them, we're playing with cards. There's nothing serious about it. And often they would come back to me 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, and they would say, holy shoot, it actually happened. So already when I was quite young, I knew that there is something quite powerful there. And I remember very sort of vividly, one day I was sitting in the middle of the night. I think it was about 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. My father has just gone to sleep after being drunk and loud, and was sitting on my doorstep. I was sitting and I was looking at the moon, and I was making a little prayer, and I had my notebook and a pen, and I was writing all the sadness that I had, all the pain. And as I was writing, I kept on asking myself this question: when will it end? Is there anything I can do to release myself from this challenge, from this pain? Is there anything that it's important for me to know? And I kept on writing, and I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And what actually happened was something quite amazing. I have written in a beautiful way, in words that were not even actually mine, okay, because they were quite flowery and beautiful and philosophical, answers to all my questions. And when I read it later, and I read it in the morning, I was shocked, I was amazed, and I was thinking, oh my God, who is speaking to me? So whatever you believe the intuition is, whether it's your higher self, whether it's your heart, whether it's guardian angel, maybe it's someone else, God, it almost doesn't matter, but we need to recognize who is speaking to us, how is the intuition communicating with us, so we do not end up listening to a voice which is not serving us. So if the intuition is there to take us where we are going, anyway, to our greatest potential, to our happiness, to effortlessness, to fulfilling our purpose on this planet, to be the best friend, daughter, son, husband, wife, to actually arrive to a place of greatness, if this is the purpose of intuition, and doing it in the easiest and the most effortless way, okay? What do we need to do to make sure that we're utilizing this intuitive genius to the highest possible level? And I'll be quite interested to see, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you listen to your intuition on a daily basis? How much do you trust it? Like 10 out of 10 is I trust it completely, and 1, I don't really know how to listen to my intuition. Where would you be? I'll be very interested to hear what you want to say. And my favorite cup, I love you for you. So you feel loved for the rest of the day. Now, I want to share with you something that I've discovered very long time ago, with the intuition, and a lot of people find it quite helpful because it helps you to recognize the difference between fear and intuition. Often in our life, we're in a situation where we don't know whether this is fear, paranoia, or it's actually intuition telling us not to do this. Don't do this, don't do this. So here come few things that is the absolute foundation, the first step of being able to use your intuitive genius. So the first step is being able to recognize your inner absolutely not. Okay, so I would be very interested again for you to share with me, how does your intuition tell you something is not right? So just let me ask you this question. Think back in time to a situation where you did something, but you did it against your inner feeling. And so something inside of you was saying to you, don't do this, don't do this. absolutely don't go there. And how did you feel in your body that it was something absolutely wrong for you to do? Where about in your body did you feel it? How did your body tell you don't do it? Well, essentially, there are some ways that are an absolute sign for no. And in fact, if you have my book, I on the chapter page 42. Okay, I want to read it to you because it's actually very good. I've done it quite well. So when the intuition is telling that something is not right, it typically shows up itself as heaviness, tightness in the stomach. Some people feel like there is this sort of tight knot in the stomach, and they also feel a certain level of heaviness. Sometimes it could be showing itself up as a loss of energy, headache, any kind of tightness and reduction of energy and heaviness. It's a sign in your body, don't do it, okay? The sign of the intuition saying yes, and you must have had situations in your life when you've gone to a place and you felt like you need to go up to someone and speak to them, even though maybe you were a bit afraid, and then you followed it, you've done it, and it was the most amazing business partnership or friendship, or even they've ended up your husband or wife. A lot of people say to me, I've gone to this party, I looked across the table, I looked at this woman, and I knew she's going to be my wife. Some people have this incredible insight. Sylvia says, sometimes when I ask myself if I should do something or not, my body moves forward for yes and no, and backwards for no. Absolutely. It is a very well recognized test for your intuition. Often, not for everybody, but if you stand still right in the middle of the room and ask yourself, is this the right thing for me to do? If the body sort of tips over slightly, it's yes, and if it tips backwards, it's no. So that you see, the intuition speaks to us all the time, and if it's a yes, it's a lightness, ease, energy boost, calmness, warmth around the heart. So in a simplistic way, no, it's a closure, tightness, yes, it's an opening. And for some people, the opening is around the head, for some is around the heart, for some is around the stomach, and for me, it's a general lightness and openness that actually spreads not just through my body, but through the whole room, and is like light shining. Also, that my angels also communicate with me. If it's an absolute yes and it's the right direction, the right thing to do, I've got sort of flashes of light around me. So I've got an additional visual situation going here. So when we allow ourselves to tune into our body and start understanding the yes and no, then the doors of amazing opportunities open up. Because from then on, you can almost always make the right decision. But what happens if we are in a very fearful state, if we are panicked about something? Does the intuition still work properly? Well, not really, because often the extreme fear and the very sort of powerful intuitive sign for no could be very similar. I want to give you an example. When I was very young, and I talk about it in my book, I was in my 20s, early 20s. I was going to work, and I was going through Leighton forest, and Epping forest, actually. I was going to work for a specific area, and as I was going to work, it was a beautiful sunny day. It was summer, and I was listening to music on my headphones, and I was walking slowly and enjoying myself. And then I entered the forest. Suddenly I entered the forest. And as I've entered the forest, immediately, within seconds, for the first time ever, I had this incredible sensation in my body of closing down, tension. It was almost like a panic, like wanting to run away. but the main feeling was around my stomach. It was like a knot like that. And so I felt some form of alarm in the air, but I had to be on time at work. And if I was to not go through the forest, I would have to go run, and I would be late. But I didn't want to be late because I wanted to be on time. So I took my headphones off, switched the music off, and I was walking and thinking, let me be ready for if there is anything dangerous there. And as I walked maybe for 5 minutes, there was a man standing there in the middle of the forest. And as soon as he saw me, he started walking very fast towards me. He had very red eyes. And I could absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that I needed to escape. So because I was young and fit, I started running for my life, jumping over the bushes and trees. And I was running. And when I got to a place where there were some people, almost like a few meters away, and I was breathing very hard, I turned and I looked at him because he was running after me through the forest. I looked back at him, and he went like, shit. Okay, so he's definitely had some business with me. He wanted to have a chat or something. Now, but the body told me immediately, as soon as I've entered the forest, be careful, or even don't go there. And but there was nothing dramatic in my head going on, you see. And often when it's just fear, it is very the words that we're hearing in our head are dramatic. Don't do this, because if you do it, you will fail. You will never be loved again. You live under the bridge. And there's so much drama in this area where the fear exists that that it's definitely not intuition, it's fear. That could be actually happening at the same time. But intuition, it's a lot more bodily, simple, not dramatic, not hysterical. It is very much about alerting us, giving us just the right amount of intuition, information, and letting us to make the decision. Interestingly enough, a lot of people who have been the victims of violence or rape or whatever, they almost, from the scientific research, they almost all of them, up to about 90%, have some uneasy, spooky sort of feeling in their body, and they actually tend to ignore it. And so intuition definitely works. What do sort of people say in here? Joe says, I heard the words, ask the boss if it's been fixed. And there was an oil leak, and I was told when it's been fixed on the services, I never got around to it. And 1,400 pounds later, I had to rebuild the top of my engine. But okay, so essentially, you got the message. You got to ignore it. Yeah. Oh, I now always listen to it now. And fantastic. So there we go. Sometimes when we ignore our intuition, it costs us a lot of money, or some other things like health. A lot of my clients at the breast cancer clinic used to say to me that they had the feeling there was something wrong, sometimes years before, but they were a bit afraid to face it. They ignored it. And then later on, there was a price for it to pay, because if they maybe caught it a bit earlier, there will be a bit more easy way to deal with it. Okay, so basically, my wonderful ladies and gentlemen, please get to know your yes and no messages. And the way to do that is ask yourself questions. And sometimes you can even ask yourself something that is wrong. So for instance, let's just say for the sake of it, someone invites you to a party, and they say to you, okay, let's go to the party, and in order to do that, you will have to travel for 5 hours, be there only for 1, come back home, be exhausted, and next day go to work and get up at 6 o'clock. And you absolutely know you don't want to go. And then you say to yourself, actually, is it good for me to go there? Maybe I should go there. And you notice what happens in your body. and use something that maybe you know that it's not absolutely not good for you. And you will notice that your body, it's almost collapsing into itself. And then also choose something that you absolutely know you want to do, something that excites you, something that it's easy and effortless for you. And ask your body, is it good for me to go there and do this? And you will notice openness and lightness, and make a note of it. Why it's important to become quite conscious of your yes and no, because not only will protect you, but it will take you to the right places. And now I'm going to expand the intuitive situation to the next level. So now when you know yes and no, okay, let's take it to another level. And so intuition comes to us in a passive and an active way. So the passive is that the body will always say to us, yes, something is good, no, something is bad. So the yes and no is the basic, always existing underneath, and you can always rely on it. But what if you need a little bit more detailed information? What then? And what is and so the passive intuition is always there, and it shows itself as yes or no. But the active intuition happens only when we start interacting with it and we ask questions. Now, the questions are a very important part of intuitive game. Let me say this again. How you ask questions of your intuition, of yourself and life, it has got a huge effect on the amount of miracles you're going to be able to manifest in your life and how successful your life is going to be. Now, a lot of people ask questions which are not wise. They may be intelligent, but they are not wise. Now, what is a wise, expansive question? A wise question takes you where you want to go. And not the very wise question, sometimes I have to say even a silly question, takes you away from where you want to go, okay? So for instance, let's just say that someone has got a challenging month, for instance, okay? Sorry about this. And they struggle with it a lot. And they go, oh, Baka, I'm so fed up. And let's just say that for the next week, they're going to keep on asking themselves, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? Will I ever be happy? The answer to all those questions, if the intuitive mind was to answer it, it would have a very difficult time to answer it, because your intuition doesn't think there is anything wrong with you. How is your intuition going to answer it? You are perfect as you are, and even your challenges in your life are perfect. So if you keep on asking yourself every day, and as you're falling asleep, fucking hell, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? And you fall asleep, what is your intuition going to do with it? Nothing. The only thing that you're going to get is your ego doing something with it. It's going to blow it up. It's going to judge you. Come on, pull yourself together and stuff like that. So if you're in a situation like that, there needs to be, it's a call for better questions, okay? So what questions are wise in the situation? One of my, I had this incredible incredible situation many years ago. I think it was 15 years ago. I was at the party, and some people said, okay, come on, we know you're very intuitive. Can you answer some questions? And I said, okay. I sort of didn't want to do it, but I did. And there was like a queue of people coming up to me, and one of them came up and said, just tell me yes or no, yes or no. And I said to her, can you tell me what you're asking about? And she said, no, just tell me yes or no. And I will never forget that. And I felt, well, if I was pushed against the wall, it would be more of a no, right? And she said to me, I absolutely knew it. I knew it. I said, what did you ask? And she said, will I ever be happy? Will I ever be happy? And I then, many, many years ago, I was stupid enough to say no, because I didn't know what she was asking. So what would be a better question for her to ask? Okay, the better question for her to ask would be, what do I need to know for me to move on peacefully in my life to the next level of expansion? How do I need to be to move on to the next level of peace, joy, success, income, relationship? Maybe what do I need to let go of? How do I need to heal? What do I need to do to be the happiest person on the planet? Okay, so the questions that we're asking are crucially important, because when you look at your life right now, your life is in a sense an answer to all the questions you're asking consciously or subconsciously. Okay, so when you're asking questions of your intuition, there's two very important things that you need to remember. One is that you need to be as peaceful and relaxed as possible. So in a situation of walking in the forest, having just done some exercising, dancing, meditation is perfect. We're going to be talking about meditation soon. Being in a space of stability, peace, relaxation. If you do that, if you tap into this state of peace, clear your fear out of the way, and be in a non-attached, peaceful state, and ask questions then, wise questions I may add, then the intuition will be pushed forward and it will start guiding you in amazing places. And one of the most interesting things that I have noticed is that, when people come to see me for a whole day session, a big part of it is that we intuitively look into what they need to do next. So it's like creating an intuitive strategy for the next stages of life. And they have a question. Well, today the biggest question I have are, what do I need to do with my business, or what do I need to do about my health or my relationship, or should I stay in this job for a bit longer or let it go? Now, and when I tune in, I get very clear answers for yes or no, for how long. But what's quite interesting, and this is the fascinating thing, every single time, almost every single time, when we tune in and the person is in the right state of mind and being, they get the same answer almost every single time. And they always say to me, I didn't realize my intuition is so strong and so good. Okay, so the one thing is, are you using your intuition? Are you using it in the right state? And are you asking the right questions? So once again, the questions which are good are questions which are taking you towards where you want to go. They're not pulling you backwards. What's wrong with me? Or why my life is so complicated? Why do I always attract men who are not nice, for instance? The better question would be to ask, how do I need to be? What space do I need to occupy to attract the most wonderful relationship into my life? How do I need to be? How do I need to think in order to take me where I need to go? Do you see? So the questions are crucial. Some people say that it's extremely helpful to ask questions just before they fall asleep, because their subconscious mind and their higher self, they work towards releasing, healing, orchestrating your life, organizing it. A lot of miracles happen when you're asleep, actually, because your guides communicate with each other. You're not controlling, not contradicting, not pushing, not pulling. You're actually relaxed. So the best time to actually connect with your intuitive self is before you fall asleep, and ask questions. You may not get the answers then and there, but then you may get the answers throughout this dream, sleep, or next day, or a few days later. So there was a comment here and I've missed it. Yes, Dominica says it's also a law of attraction. It's very important how we formulate words and what we send to the universe. It's absolutely important. And let me actually bring synchronicity into it now. So first of all, what makes the intuition extremely powerful, and it takes it to the next level, is being aligned with the universal laws. So if you are highly intentional, if you always know what you want to do in any given moment, and you go into situations with very clear intention, then and you are very loving, you're heart-centered, then it's very much easier for you to be intuitive, because you're connected to the universal flow and love, So intentional, heart-centered, wishing people well, asking good questions, and going in a very specific direction. When the intuition kicks in, synchronicity happens. So all the things that would have happened anyway, but maybe we would have missed it, or maybe they wouldn't have happened because we would ignore our intuition and we go somewhere else. All of those incredible circumstances, opportunities collide into that one moment when you know where you're going and you're bringing your best self into every single situation. So for instance, let's just say I've seen it so many times. A client says to me, I'm going to a business meeting and it's going to be a board meeting, very important meeting, and I'm really, really scared because so much is riding on it. And if the person takes their fear forward and they feel afraid of saying something wrong or failing, they basically do not start the synchronicity flowing in the way that it could. But if they say, my highest intention is to arrive to this meeting as my best self and to create shifts, miracles for this company, to say things that will move people forward, and the person brings the energy of heart-centeredness and sends love and light, which we've been doing for the first few days of our challenge, you bless the meeting, bless every single person, send love, and see the outcome of it, that they leave the session and they say, this is amazing, congratulations, we've just moved forward, so far, we're so grateful, fantastic. So if the intention is very clear and there is love, then the synchronicities happen, they kick in, and amazing things can happen. So without being intentional, without being loving, without wishing people well, without bringing your whole greater self into the situations, the synchronicities may not be happening at such a high level. So the higher vibration that we operate in, the more synchronicities are happening every single time. You think about something and it happens. You think about a person, they call you. You need someone and someone calls you and says, hi, I've just been thinking, I've got a spare car, house, whatever, do you want to take it? Yeah. So please remember, start training yourself today even more. You may already be good at it, but today, what question could you ask yourself that will create the most successful outcome today? What questions could you ask yourself that will bring solutions to your biggest questions? What question could you ask today that will create downfall of miracles? And so I have some of those questions for myself, and I want to share them with you. In the morning, when I open my eyes, I sit up straight in bed before I go out of bed, and I do a meditation. In this meditation, I do the morning meditation, which I attached to one of the videos a few days ago, in which I bless my day, send love, and I ask questions of my intuition, which are very specific. Sometimes I write quite a bit, but the key question that I ask is, in order to have the most incredible day, what do I need to know? If I have a specific thing, let's say I have a course that I need to run, or have a meeting or a session with a client, I may ask something very specific. In order to have the most outstanding session with this person, what do I need to remember? What do I need to keep in my mind? And I write it down. Then I ask, in order to have the most successful, beautiful, blessed, miraculous day, what do I need? How do I need to be? Now, the being, interestingly enough, is even more important often than the doing. Because if we are operating in the right being, then the miracles flow, because we are aligned with the energy that we need to be occupying for the miracles to effortlessly appear in our life. So often I have planned my day, and then I ask the question, how do I need to be? And I get a very different answer. That, I needed to be effective and focused, but I get an answer that I need to be completely surrendered, almost detached, observing the universe, that my life from a distance, and completely let go, almost like without pushing, pulling, and being relaxed and completely surrendered and open to miracles. Okay. And the last question I ask, what do I need to do today to have the most miraculous day? And those 3 questions, I often ask more questions as well if they need to be specific, but those 3 questions put me in a state of alert, almost, of knowing what are the key things that I need to do today. I also download a code, a word or a sentence for the day that vibrationally will take me where I need to go. And we're going to do those things when we go to, on the 19th of January in my course, we're going to talk about it a bit more in depth to prepare you every day for the day, because it's not just one day and we're going to have an amazing year ahead. We need to be repeating certain rituals and doing certain things every day to make sure that we do not go off too far into our ego, into our drama, into our busyness. We need to keep on bringing ourselves back for the intuition to work brilliantly. We've got some feedbacks here. Yes, what question could I ask myself today to bring about the best outcome? Absolutely. This is a brilliant question. And so, one last thing I want to give you before we finish for today. So intuition responds very well to the containers that we give it for the answers to flow into us. So many of you know that particularly if you're very visual, that a picture is worth thousands of words or hundreds of words. And so let's say that you need to find information about something quickly, but you don't have much time to research, to go online, to call people. You need to decide quickly on a business or something that doesn't give you a lot of time to faff about with it. So if you take a picture or an object and you use it with your intuition, some amazing things can happen. As an example, so let's just say, it's my favorite example because it happened many, many times, but in this particular situation, it was actually even funny. So many, many, many years ago, I had a boyfriend, but we didn't know each other very long, and we decided to go together on a holiday for 2 weeks. And I thought to myself, well, I don't know him that well. I'm going away for 2 weeks on holidays. How is it going to be? And I asked the question, if this man was a dish, what would he be? Okay. And you see, the intuition has got then a few seconds to deliver all the details into a picture. And then it's up to you to analyze it. You can take some time to analyze it, but it's playful, it's clear, and it's very powerful. So in this case, the answer that came, what I saw was a beautiful bowl of fruit, and it was a fruit salad, and it was in a nice dish. It was beautifully cut. There was so much fruit in there, and it was too much. It was a lot of fruit, and like simplicity, it's better. It's maybe two sorts of different pieces of fruit or 3 different kinds of fruit, but there was about like 10 maybe. And when I took a mouthful of it, it already tasted sour and off. It was off, but it looked great. It was presented nicely. And anyway, I went on this trip, and actually he was extremely handsome. He's the most incredibly handsome man ever. And he presented himself well. He sounded, he spoke with confidence, and all the people who we met, we were going, wow, what a lovely man. But actually, the more we spent time with each other, I felt, oh my God, this is too much. This is too much for me. And it felt off. It was completely, and I knew that if I keep on eating the salad, I will have an indigestion and maybe even fart. I can tell you, quietly. And that's how I felt on that holiday. It was too much. It was not quite right in my stomach. My body told me this. My intuition told me this about a month before I went on holiday. And now I had a wonderful holiday anyway. I'm so glad that I went. But you can use your intuition in terms of making a decision, maybe not yes or no, but be prepared for things. or decide not to do it. So that's one thing. Another one is a meter reader. So often we do that with my partner constantly. He's about to make a decision about something, and he goes, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how appropriate is it for me to do it, to go there, to invest there, my time, my money? And you immediately see a number from 1 to 10. 10 is brilliant, and 1 is terrible. And don't do it. 5, it's maybe it'll be okay, but it's not fantastic. Anything between 7 and 10, it's an absolute yes. The answer comes to your mind long before you even have time to analyze it or decide anything about it. So to use this intuitive meter on a scale from 1 to 10, how appropriate is it for me to do that? Okay? But don't think about it. You need to see the number. What's actually even more interesting that the conversations we often have with my boyfriend about this, he may not know what I'm asking him about, and I don't know what he's asking about. He says, the thing that I hold in my mind, how appropriate is it for me? Okay? So you can ask yourself questions like that. And so the meter is very good. If this thing was a dish, if this thing was a song. So if you're very musical, you listen to the song and you think it's jazz, I don't like it, or it's heavy metal, I don't like it. So something will come to your mind. So you can play with it. If it's a dish, if it's a song, if it's a piece of clothing, if it's an animal, if this person was an animal, what animal would it be? It gives you incredible answers. And just to finish off, I would like you to also use writing. Because you see, I would probably say that that writing is one of the most powerful sources of downloading information for me. And you may have read the book. Have you read the book Conversations with God? And this guy got very frustrated with his life and everything was happening to him. And he basically said, bloody hell, God, I'm really annoyed with you. And he started asking questions. And then he started getting answers. It's interesting. Has God spoken to him, or his intuition, his higher self? And we all have connection to God. So if, in theory, if we ask God question, we will get the answer. So writing things down, it's an extremely powerful way of connecting with your intuition. But please make sure that you feel relaxed. Please make sure that you keep on writing a bit to get into the flow of things. Be heart-centered, be very intentional, and ask a question. And you may want to actually ask before you start writing. You ask your higher self, ask your intuition. May I only get the intuitive answers from the higher source of information? May it only come from the highest source. So we don't necessarily want to speak to some beings who have died, and maybe grandmothers who not necessarily were happy where they were alive. Anyway, we go straight to the source. We go straight to the divine, and we ask the highest questions to the highest sources. Okay. Dominica says here that she asks questions before she sleeps, and she goes into a state of relaxation and peace. And yes, she says, I'm a clairvoyant, and I think everyone is. I agree with that. But we need to do some work on it. And also on self-love meditations, and open yourself up. And Dominica says, Gosha has changed my life a year ago. With few words you said to me, there were my answers, which I asked for long. Okay, fantastic. So thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that I was able to change your life with few words. This is even more important, to be careful what words are we saying to people, whether they are inspiring, healing, boosting, or pulling people down. So now, just to finish off, some of you are still with me here, even after 46 minutes of me talking. Thank you so much. Let's just finish this conversation today. And there's so many of you today. I'm so grateful. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. Close your eyes. Make a deep breath again, and as you breathe out, Let go of everything that you no longer need. And once more, let go and allow your heart to open nicely and gently with the sense of gratitude for today, for where we are, for this most amazing day today. And imagine that love and light is pouring out of your heart and it flows to all directions, to every part of your life, every person you're going to meet today that you know and you don't know. Every meeting, every exchange of energy, all the things you're going to do today, they are going to be successful, effective, effortless. So see the light pouring in your life, into your days, into your minutes, into your evening, into your sleep. So your sleep is relaxed and peaceful and restorative today. So imagine this beautiful golden light pouring into everything you're going to do, everything you're going to meet. And bless your day and bless your evening, bless your sleep with divine perfection, happiness, clarity, and highly intuitive connection with your soul. And I bless you today with always trusting your intuition, always being connected with your intuitive genius, making the most incredible decisions for yourself in your life, making decisions that will shift you from wherever you are to your next level of expansion with ease and grace. And I bless every single aspect of your life with ease and flow and divine order. And now, just before you open your eyes, I want you to imagine in front of you two screens. Screen A is where you are right now, and screen B, where you're going to be in the next few months, where everything falls into place and everything will flow in the most incredible, successful way. Maybe you have a question that you have. So in screen B, you have resolved the situation. You have found the answer. You have made the right decision. So when you compare screen A and screen B, what are you doing in screen B, which you're not doing in screen A? What is the difference? Notice how differently you're thinking, how you're feeling, and your actions in screen B. What are you doing differently? Capture the main difference and take a deep breath in, breathe out, open your eyes, welcome back. So have a great day, have a great evening, and I am going to finish here. The last exercise that we have done, the two screens, is one of my most powerful exercises, intuitive exercises that I use when I need to decide what I need to do with a specific thing, and I look into my future self for the answer. So when she arrived when she needed to arrive, she did what she needed to do, what will be happening there? You can always get the answer from the part of you in the future that has made the right decision. So sending you lots of love. Have a great day. Have a most amazing encounters with people today. Remember, be a miracle worker and receive miracles in your life. And I see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Please share this live with people. Oh, I have forgotten to say something, but I will say it now. I am going to give the person who shared the live with people, I'm going to give a free ticket to my course on the 19th of January. But the request is that you need to share it with as many people as possible. And I will put the names in the hat and I pull the person with the ticket. If you can't come to the course, or you've already got the ticket, you can give the ticket to someone you would like. So this is the competition. Share this with your friends, with as many people as you want, as many people as possible. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to pick up out of my hat the lucky winner for the free ticket for my course. So sending you lots of love, and I see you tomorrow.